Well, up on the Zoom, we have another guest. And, of course, it's our old buddy Eastvale Joey from Eastvale, California. We missed you last week, Joe. I know you were out on the golf course again in some great weather. But let's talk about Lion football. What did you think of the game tonight? I know you had to see it.
Yes, I did, Scott. I saw the game. It was quite exciting. A little scary in the first half, but they pulled it together and came out the strong second half. Kirby Joseph made a couple of huge picks, which turned the game around pretty much. So pretty satisfied with the victory. I think they should have won, this week against San Francisco, but our defense is just decimated, and it's tough to get victories in the NFL these days if you don't have a full squad of your best players.
I just noticed this, Corey. Do you see the logo behind him here? Does that say EVJ?
It says EVJ. Wow.
It says EVJ.
And it looks like it's lit up. Is that in lights? Or is that just...
It is in lights, Scott. It is in lights.
Unbelievable.
You like that?
That's awesome, Joe.
I got my own. I have my own.
He's got the chain. He's got the lion behind him and his initials in the back. That is amazing.
You see the number? Here's my player of the game tonight, right there.
He's going with Gibbs.
Player of the year.
That's right.
Go back to Joe said something. He said I want to go back to your best players on defense. I keep asking you guys, who are these best players that's hurt? And I don't want to hear Hutch. We know Hutch is hurt.
Anzalone.
Okay. So
Anzalone. Who's the best?
Anzalone. Freaking, I think Alim McNeil is the biggest deficit we have is in the middle on the defensive line.
I would agree.
And then Anzalone and Malcolm Rodriguez are two solid linebackers that we missed dreadfully. I think Darius Smith has played reasonably since he came into the mix. But we've had some Khalil Dorsey went down. He's a major factor on special teams. I was disappointed to see that happen to him.
Yeah.
Who else? What's his name? Carlton Davis. Huge on the defensive secondary. So those are big injuries there, all of them. And I didn't even mention Hutch for you, Corey. I didn't even mention him.
Well, Joey, the question of the week, the Roar question of the week, what position on the Detroit Lions has produced more Pro Bowlers? You've had some good answers in the previous questions. Yep. Is it A, defensive backs, B, running backs, C, linebackers, or D, offensive tackles? What is your answer?
I can't think of any running back other than Barry Sims that was a Pro Bowler. I don't think Billy Sims ever made the Pro Bowl. And I can't think of any offensive linemen that were Pro Bowlers because, the Dallas years when Dallas was rolling and San Francisco were rolling, when they were going back and forth with Super Bowl wins, they were dominant with their Pro Bowl selections. And, that was the era of Lomas Brown and those guys, and they were great, but, their team records never showed it. So they never got the nod. So, and heck, I don't know. I'll go with defensive backs. How about that?
Okay. Defensive backs.
And I have no idea. I have no idea what defensive backs. It had to have been a long time ago, but I can only think of one or two. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, wasn't he a Pro Bowler last year, or was he?
He was
just
a
rookie.
Year. Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs did make it to the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm. He did.
So you're going defensive backs. Interesting.
So I can only count two, running backs, and I have no idea. I'm just shot in the dark. I'm going to go with defensive backs.
Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs was your player of the game. I would say he was probably be my player of the game. He was electric tonight once again.
He was. He was. You know, he's filled in that role. You know, of first running back. He was able to hit holes quick, hard, make cuts to get through holes. You know, that big touchdown run in the fourth quarter was a great run, 30-yard run. You know, so he just when they needed an offensive play that wasn't a pass play, they gave him the ball and he made it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to. I can't wait to see if maybe Montgomery comes back. But I mean, it's almost like a light switch was turned on in this kid.
Yeah. Well, I've been talking to this kid all year. He puts me in the mind of Marshall Faulk. Faulk's a little smoother, but he'll get there. You know, he'll get there. He'll get to that level. He's something special to watch. And when Montgomery comes back, now Johnson's going to have to dial up, you know, some more packages. But right. I think they can go all the way with this kid. He's something special. It's almost like one of those situations where you like, wow, are we really watching this? You know what I mean? Like, are we really seeing this? Every week there's something, a catch out of the backfield. Today he had a block. He even blocks.
Oh, man.
So, you know what I mean?
That block was huge, too.
Yeah, this kid is lights out. No question.
He is.
Are you excited? Player. Are you excited to see Laporta get a little bit more involved in that offense, too, Joe?
Absolutely, man. You know, it's good to see him, you know, be, you know, part of the check down system and mm-hmm. you know, he's running good routes. He always has run pretty good routes. Mm-hmm. I think he's just kind of recovered from injuries a little bit. He had lower extremity injuries and, you know, he's getting off of blocks and making good cuts and he's open enough for Goff to get the ball to. Goff had some zip on his ball tonight too. That you know, I've talked a couple times in recent weeks. He's looked like he's had some wobbly balls, but he had some zip on his ball tonight, and I think that made a difference on a bunch of throws. You know, and he played solid all game too. You know, so you know, hats off to him. You know?
Yeah, Sam Laporta 6 for 64 and a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown scored again. Mm-hmm. He was 8 for 60. Mm-hmm. Jameson Williams, of course, 5 for 77. Mm-hmm. But like you said, Jahmyr Gibbs, 18 for 117 and a touchdown. But you know what? I would have to give Goff a attaboy, so to speak. I would go with Jahmyr Gibbs as my player of the game. But Goff, 26 of 34, did not throw a pick. When I thought they were gone down early with the 49ers, that's when you kind of look at Goff and you say, that's when mistakes can happen. But he stayed mistake-free tonight.
Yeah, you know, Goff has showed a lot of maturity this season when it comes to, you know, keeping his head in the game and staying steady with the game plan. You know, you know, tonight would have been a night for him to maybe make some mistakes, you know, due to nerves because he had his family. You know, he's from Northern Cal and his family and friends were there. You know, you might have thought that he might have made a big mistake, but he was just in the game. He was in his zone. He played solid all game long. He never seemed rattled. He made good throws all game long. Threw the ball away when he needed to. Didn't fumble. You know, so. You know, he played a solid game and showed a lot of maturity tonight, I think, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, before I let you go, Joe, the Roar poll question is, would the Lions, being the 5th seed, be a easier road to the NFC Championship? What is your thoughts on that?
With the Lions being the 5th seed?
Yes, no. If they lose next week to the Vikes.
No, that's not going to be an easier road. If you put an extra game in there for anybody, it's a more difficult road. You know, they will. The Lions, with their injuries on defense and even offense, you know, they will benefit by having an extra week off or a bye week, and as any team will. And it will not be an easier road if they were the 5th seed. I think they need to punch the Vikings right in the mouth, right where they need to be punched, and show them who's boss in the NFC North. And and I think that's the Lions. So I hope we put on a good show next week. Our offense continues to roll with a strong running game, good passing game, solid game plan, and if our defense can make a few stops and get a pick or two, that's what it boiled down tonight. In the second half was being able to get a couple stops, and they were able to do that. And the turnovers, the interceptions by Joseph were huge, so it changed the tide of the game.
Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure as always having you on the show. And we love that EVJ and Lion logo in the back. I mean, he's gone all out since he came on the show.
Hey,
he was on the show, I believe, in preseason.
Yeah.
He came on.
He's gone all out.
Yeah, you can thank my daughter for the EVJ thing. It was,
okay.
It's a good touch, I think. I like it.
I like it, yeah.
And I got to give a shout out to my buddies who coined the little EVJ nickname here, so it's kind of funny. They're calling me EVJ now when they see me, so
right.
It's kind of funny.
Will that like if you're back on the golf course again in the playoffs, are we going to be able to see the EVJ Lion symbol behind you if you're going to be reporting from the golf club?
That might be a stretch there, Scott. I don't have a whole lot of room in my golf bag, so we'll see. Maybe I'll race home just to be able to make an appearance on this fine show.
Well, Joe, thanks for coming on with us tonight, and we hope to talk to you next week after a Lions victory.
All right.
I will look forward to it. Victory or no victory, I'm still going to look forward to it. But yes, we're looking forward to the victory speech of next week. Yes, indeed.